In the darkest years of Imperial rule, when fear gripped world after world, one fighting force rose from scattered resistance cells, small in number but fierce in purpose. They did not claim superiority. They did not claim strength. What they did have was resolve. This is the army of the Alliance to restore the Republic, or better known as the Rebellion. History of the Rebellion Army. Formed around 2 years before the Battle of Yavin, the Alliance Army stood as the ground combat branch of the Rebel Alliance. Built from early resistance groups and freedom fighters, it was far smaller than its enemy, the massive Imperial Army. The Alliance Army's structure centered on two pillars: the Alliance Special Forces, controlled by High Command, and Sector Forces, each overseen by a sector commander. From its inception until Endor, the Army operated primarily as a guerrilla force. Rebel units rarely met Imperial troops head-on. Instead, they struck quickly, vanished, and reappeared where least expected, always tying down Imperial resources, exhausting their supply lines, and engaging only on their own terms. After the failure of Operation Domino, the Alliance Starfighter Corps temporarily surpassed the Army as the Rebellion's primary strike force. Still, the Alliance Army remained active in every theater of the Galactic Civil War. The Battle of Hoth was one of the Army's few large-scale conventional engagements. Even then, Alliance soldiers found their light weaponry largely ineffective against the Empire's AT-ATs, relying heavily on their T-47 airspeeders to slow the Imperial advance. During the Battle of Endor, the Army returned to the role it performed best: covert operations. A small commando strike team infiltrated the Forest Moon to destroy the shield generator, protecting the second Death Star. Their success reshaped the galaxy. Following Endor in 4 ABY, the Alliance Army was formally replaced by the New Republic Army. Soldiers of the Rebellion. The backbone of the Alliance Army was made up of two major groups: Alliance Special Forces and Spec Ops divisions, which were elite units trained for sabotage, infiltration, and guerrilla warfare, and the Sector Forces, which included the bulk of the Rebellion's infantry, the familiar rebel troopers seen throughout the war. These men and women came from every corner of the galaxy, united not by power or conquest, but by the simple belief that freedom was worth fighting for. Command structure. Despite being a guerrilla force, the Alliance maintained a surprisingly standardized hierarchy. Corporal, which was second in command of a 9-trooper squad; a sergeant, which was the squad leader; a lieutenant, which commanded a 36-troop platoon; captain, which led a 144-trooper company; a major commanded a battalion of 576 troops; the colonel oversaw a regiment of 2,304 troops, sometimes as a brigade; general, which commanded brigades of 9,216 troops, or a full corps of 36,864 troops. Senior generals could command entire sector armies. In the Navy, ranks ranged from petty officers through ensigns, lieutenants, commanders, captains, admirals, and, at the very top, the Admiral of the Fleet, which was the supreme commander of the Alliance fleet. Equipment of the Rebellion. When in major battles, the Alliance was known to utilize several different vehicles and military equipment. Some of them were from the Clone Wars era. Armor. The Alliance lacked the heavy industrial support of the Empire, so its armored units were a patchwork of Clone Wars era designs, captured Imperial walkers, and newly built repulsor tanks. They emphasized speed and maneuverability over raw durability, allowing Rebel armor to perform raids, hit vulnerable flanks, and rapidly withdraw before Imperial reinforcements arrived. It included things like the AAC-1 speeder tank, the AAC-2 hover tank, AT-ATs, AT-APs, AT-ETs, AT-RTs, AT-STs, AT-TEs, HAVW-A5 juggernauts, a mobile defense unit, Rebel armored freerunner, Rebel attack tank, the Rebel combat speeder, the T-1B hover tank, the T-3B heavy attack tank, the TX-130 Sabre-class fighter tank, and the ultralight assault vehicle. Artillery included things like the 1.4 FDP tower, a DF.9, FPC 6.7 anti-aircraft battery, the MLC-3 mobile laser cannon, mobile proton torpedo launcher, SP-9 anti-infantry artillery vehicle, and the V-188 penetrator. Mechanized infantry included armed transports, armored hover trains, Aero 23 land speeders, Endor Forest Rangers, infantry support platforms. Aerial assault included the AHS-1 heavy assault airspeeders, GR-75 medium transports, light corvettes, T-47 airspeeders. Reconnaissance included the 74Z speeder bikes and air bikes, all-terrain personnel transports, Flare S swoops, and security scouts. Planetary defenses included the V-150 anti-orbital ion cannon, the LNR Series 1 systemary laser batteries, Gen Core Level 1 and Gen Core Level 2 shield generators. Infantry included the Alliance Special Forces, Rebel Troopers, Rebel Elite Commandos, Rebel Marksmen, Rebel Mortar Troopers, Rebel Pilots, Rebel Marines, Rebel Dark Trooper Hunters, Rebel Gunners, Rebel Honor Guards, Rebel Vanguard Division, Rebel Desert Troopers, Rebel Assault Troopers, Heavy Troopers, Prison Troopers, Missile Troopers, and Infiltrators. Alliance Elite Guards, Sith Hunters, Sea Commandos, and Rebel Privateers. Tactics of the Rebellion. Compared to the forces of the Imperial military, the Alliance's ground forces were woefully outmatched in numbers of troops, vehicles, warships, and material. Because of this, Alliance commanders were taught to follow Medine's rules of war, striking the enemy at his weakest points, destroying their morale, and outsmarting enemy commanders were seen as the best way for the rebels to achieve victory during offensive operations. The same principle was applied to defensive operations. Army units were often tasked to provide cover while important rebel assets escaped, and other temporary holding actions. Extended defensive battles would always result in the Imperial Army eventually overwhelming them with superior numbers. A form of mobile defense was encouraged, whereby ground was given up when necessary in order to lure overextended Imperial forces into a trap. The Battle of Teams was a classic example of this method and later used as a lesson to teach new army commanders. Tactically, the Alliance Army fought as a combined arms forces, utilizing infantry, artillery, armor, scout units, ground transports, and air support. Because of shortages within the rebellion, however, not all of these elements were always present on a battlefield. Reflecting the Alliance Army's way of fighting, most rebel vehicles tended to be lighter and faster than their Imperial counterparts in order to outmaneuver them and either attack weak points or retreat in the face of overwhelming firepower. Troopers on board the Tantive 4 were seen using a two-man buddy system for point-and-cover fire as a standard tactic. The army of the Alliance to restore the Republic was never the largest or the most powerful. Yet, in courage, ingenuity, and resolve, it proved the galaxy could resist tyranny, from the forests of Endor to the icy plains of Hoth, from covert strikes to massive skirmishes. These soldiers shaped the destiny of countless worlds. Though their name would eventually be retired, the legacy of the Rebellion Army lives on in every fighter who dares to challenge oppression, and every world that remembers the cost of freedom. Let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comments down below, and feel free to share what you would like to see in the next army video. Which army would you like done? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and until next time, thanks for watching.